ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ. Satsang ji, I've been asked to give a little bit of an introductory about the Sikh Academy for Gurmat Education that we're going to be initiating this fall. The Gurdwara Sahib Guru Nanak mission was founded for the purpose of trying to take our youth to the next level, trying to take us and build something that is here for future generations that our youth can continue to thrive on and ultimately become custodians of. But the youth have to become more involved in the Gurdwara process, and the youth have to be connected to Sikhi. How do we do that? Those were the founding principles of the Sikh Academy for Gurmat Education that we are now initiating and have planned on starting this fall. The founding principles of this educational mission is such that the goal is, as most Khalsa schools do, most Khalsa schools are there to impart information. They're data transmitters is what they are. So children come with their pens, pencils, paper, and they take notes, and they take notes on historical facts, and they are given pieces of information from our history that is somehow designed to make them become better Sikhs, or somehow designed to connect them in Sikhi, or somehow designed to make them want to walk the path. My experience, having been grown up in the Khalsa school setting, having been on both sides on the receiving end and on the delivering end of this educational process, is that data and facts alone don't seem to do justice. What needs to be done, and our goal here is to build inspiration. And how do you inspire? How do you take a child who's not so interested in Sikhi and who's simply been born into the process, and how do you take that child and say, you must walk on the Guru's path? It's not easy. One of the most effective ways is to show those children who else has walked on the Guru's path and how they've done. So one of the processes that we will initiate is to connect these kids to others who have become successful in life, others who have been successful at walking the Guru's path, and those who can connect to youth. So they look at them as role models. Those will be people who we have involved in the school. In addition to showing them these role models and connecting them to people, not only locally, but also from abroad, we have the benefit of a new Gurdwara Sahib here. And we've taken advantage of that by technology. We have Skype and internet-enabled classrooms that when the second phase of the Gurdwara Sahib gets completed, we'll have even more of a robust system. But even presently, we have it such that people who we feel as though can inspire, if they live in Australia, or if they live in California, or in India, it doesn't matter. We can remote them into our classrooms. And those kids can be inspired by others from around the globe. So we're very fortunate in that we've had the ability to build this from the ground up. So I think that that's a massive advantage. The school itself has to be something that connects kids to Sikhi. So one of the deficiencies of many Khalsa schools that are out there that I've seen is that they impart this educational mission only in the classroom. And Sikhi is something that's not practiced in a classroom. Sikhi is practiced here, at home, and life. But in the classroom itself that's part of what they do every day when they go to school. Their regular education. They impart knowledge. They gain knowledge from that. But they practice it outside of that venue. So we want the kids to experience Sikhi. So the first part of the school, when kids first arrive, is they will attend a divan that's intended solely for them. We have, again, the benefit of having a small divan hall right across the way, across from the entrance here. That is designed for the school, that will be used for the school. The children will come, and they'll do prakash for Guru Sahib, bring Guru Sahib in. They will do hukam, they will do ardas, they will do kirtan, they will do anand sahib, they will then do sukhasan, they will also do simran. They will, in addition, be serving prasad. They will know all of the aspects of the Gurdwara protocol. They will know what it is to touch Guru Sahib. Many children don't have the benefit of having Guru Sahib at home. We have, in this day and age, we have the luxury of everyone has the ability to bring Guru Sahib to their house. For those families who are so fortunate, children can indeed have the opportunity to sit behind Guru Sahib, to touch Guru Sahib, to do prakash and sukhasana of Guru Sahib. But many kids don't have that fortune, that good fortune. So as a result, every child who comes into our school will have the ability to sit and get to know their Guru. Many kids don't realize the inspiration for Sikhi comes from Bani. And whatever we can do to connect our kids to Bani, we must do. And one of the main ways is that they must realize that in the future, as they get older, that they must be able to read from Guru Sahib. They must be able to get their knowledge themselves. Sikhi is not a system where someone else has to give you knowledge. We do not rely on any individual to give us knowledge. We have the good fortune to be able to receive that knowledge from our Guru directly. So that direct knowledge has to be communicated to our kids, and that knowledge can only be obtained by being able to sit behind Guru and to read from Guru and to analyze what the Guru has said and then apply that knowledge to our daily lives. So to be able to connect to Guru Sahib is paramount to a child's experience in Sikhi, and if a school does not connect them to Bani and to Guru, then in my mind it has failed at its mission. You cannot simply impart the fact that Guru Nanak Sahib was born in 1469, or that Vaisakhi happened in 1699. You cannot just impart the names of the parents of Guru Nanak Sahib or the children of Guru Gobind Singh. Those pieces of information are not irrelevant, they're important, and they're an important part of our history, but they alone don't build inspiration. So the goal here is to connect kids to Guru and to apply that knowledge to their daily lives. So in addition to having a full Divan experience, the kids will then go on to more of a classroom experience, as I've just described. But the classes are going to be distinctly a little bit different. The Gurmat class that we'll have will connect kids to Bani by connecting them to our history. I myself learned Sikh history largely through Sakhis. I didn't take a massive book or a dictionary. At that time, I just turned 50. We didn't have the internet when I was a teenager. So the technology that's available now wasn't available then, but even still, the ability for a kid to get up on their own and to learn by reading is limited. They have many other pressures. So we here will be providing them stories about our ancestors, about our Guru's sacrifices, about their followers' sacrifices, about everyone who's laid the groundwork for the path that we are allowed to walk on today. We will give kids inspiration by telling them of those sacrifices. And as a result of that transmission of those stories, we will support them by referencing Bani, to connect them to Bani. Everything in the school has to be connected to Bani. So we'll talk about the Janeyu Sakhi from Guru Nanak Sahib, when he was a young boy and he was asked to wear the sacred thread that he refused. And we will support that Sakhi by relating the Bani of Asakiwar. In Asakiwar, it comes the very Sakhi itself of the Janeyu. Eh Janeyu ji ka het Bani. That Sakhi is related in the Guru. So this is a way, a mechanism of saying to the kids, listen, yes, you've heard of these things, but they are located in our Guru. Our Guru tells us our history. Our Guru tells us what to be inspired by, and we will relate these stories in person to the children in a mechanism such that they will want to hopefully go out and learn themselves, so that they're not solely relying on what we do here in the school. So Sikh history and Gurmat will not be taught solely by the transmission of facts and data alone. We'll then have another class that's going to be largely Gurmukhi, relating to the Gurmukhi of Guru Granth Sahib. So as much as we want to connect our kids to Punjabi, and we more so want to connect them to the ability to connect to Guru Granth Sahib. And so instead of showing them that Ura is for Oot, or Haha is for Hati, we'll connect them to Sasa, which is for Satnam, and we'll connect them to Sasa for Sabhan. In other words, we'll go and look at Bani and help the kids understand Bani, connect to Bani, and read Bani by teaching them Gurmukhi through Bani. So their homework, for instance, will not be to simply write the Banti Akhar. Their homework will be to go home and write the Mool Mantra. Their homework will be to go home and recite the Mool Mantra. Their homework will be to connect to Bani. That's the sole purpose of what we're trying to do. And then the last class that we'll have is something that will be largely to make them global citizens. Global citizenry, the concept of being a global citizen, now you hear of quite a bit. People are inspired by events abroad, and you see people standing up and protesting. You see people coming to Washington, Capitol Hill with placards. Those people stand for something. Those people are protesting a process that they don't agree with. Those people are protesting the injustices that are in this world. We as a Khalsa, we as a Sikh Qawm, we're put on this earth to fight injustice. So the concept of Sarvata Bala is something that will be communicated in this class by teaching kids as to what is happening on this planet, not only within the Sikh community, but also outside the Sikh community, to inspire them to stand up against what is wrong, against those injustices that have been going on in this world, regardless of whether they're directly connected to them or not. We will establish a local chapter for Amnesty International as well. Again, connecting them to processes and to people who have already stood up against the injustices of this world. We'll bring in and remote in people who are already activists outside of our community who have done tremendous work. We will connect them to nonprofits. You know, part of the process of our academy is to show them that in order to be a Sikh of our Guru, in order to follow the path that the Gurus have laid out for us, that we must not only apply the concepts of Bani directly to our lives, but the world should be able to look at us as Sikhs of our Guru and follow our actions to then infer what the message of Guru Nanak was. You know, we named this Guru Nanak Mission because we wanted this place to be something that allowed others to walk in and understand what the Guru's message was, what Guru Nanak's mission was. Not just of four walls that we come in and we feed the overfed. And we come in and we must take our $1 and we go downstairs or across the hall and have our langar. We are supposed to be here for the purpose of making a difference, and that's what these kids have to understand. That Sikhi is not about just us. Sikhi is about the Guru's process. And the Guru's process is to uplift humanity. And that's what we're here for. So to connect them to the spiritual message of Bani, to connect them to the greater message of uplifting humanity, and to make them better individuals, to allow them to succeed. You know, the other aspect that we're going to do here, and this is more indirect than it is direct, but it is to make them confident about who they are. It is about to allow us to instill in them a sense of pride. Not pride in the sense of one of the Gurats, but not something to be walking around with a chip on the shoulder, but something to walk into a room that's got not another single Sikh, not another Sardar, Sardarni that's visible, and to walk into that room with their head held high and to be proud of who they are. You know, I used to walk into my classes. I was an undergraduate at an institution that had over 20,000 students. And at times, because of the fact that I reveled on being unique, I would sometimes walk into my class 1 minute late, just as the professor was starting. Everyone else was seated, and I would walk in at the very, very beginning of the class, meaning that I would walk in at the auditorium was such that the professor was at the bottom and the kids were all on top. I would walk in where the professor was so that everyone could see that I was not the same. So that both had good and bad. If I did something good, it was remembered. If I did something bad, it was also remembered. So we need our kids to be able to walk into a classroom with their head held high, proud of who they are, proud of their Guru's path, and proud of what they stand for. You know, the Guru gave us a crown. The Guru gave us an appearance, an outward appearance. We are to use that for our advantage. So one of the things that we want to do is we want to make sure that kids walk with a sense of pride and accomplishment of not only what they did and who they are, but also of their Guru's path. And as the school starts this fall, and for every preschool season, we will hold a bullying session. And the game plan here is to have it such that we bring in kids, non-Sikhs, who are outside of our faith and our path, but who have grown up through this educational system, Hispanics, African Americans, white, and to have them come in and role play and to bully our kids. You'd say, well, why would you want to subject your kids, our kids, to bullying? Why would you want to put them in that position? It's because I want to prepare them. I want them to expect to be bullied. I want them to expect resistance, discrimination, prejudice. You know, this is a very difficult world and a very difficult life to live. And North America itself has taken a little bit of a turn in terms of the approach to outsiders, if you will, or people who appear to be outsiders. And I want our kids best prepared to succeed in this life. And that's not only in Sikhi, but also in the world, to be able to go out into college, into the workplace, and stand their ground, not be able to back off, not be intimidated, not be bullied. And so I want to put them in a real life situation. So that's an example of what we're intending to do. That's a flavor of what the game plan is with regards to trying to build a better Sikh and to connect our kids to the path of our Guru. So if there's any questions with regards to the process, the online registration has just started. Gulibirji has just sent out an email. Hopefully everyone's on the email blast. We have the monitor in the hallway is broadcasting a copy of the flyer that's out there. If anyone has any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. And all the information is available online. If you go to our website, gurmatedukationnj.com, you'll see the links for the Sage Academy, as well as other information about the registration of the school process. Gurmat Education, Waਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ